Hi, I'm Ms. Wong, and today we're going to look at technology and linear graphs with Desmos. Okay, so let's see how we get to Desmos. You type in www.desmos.com and it'll take you to this website. You click on Graphing Calculator and we can put in any equation in this space here. Let's try these 4 equations. So we have y equals x. We get that line, y equals 2x, y equals, where do you think 5x will be? It's going to be even steeper. And lastly, y equals, where do you think 0.2x is going to look like? A lot shallower. So we can see that using Desmos, we can quickly sketch the graphs that we want and compare its attributes. So in this case, I've given you something with a different value in front of x, or in other words, a different gradient, and we can quickly see that y equals x, the red line, can be compared to y equals 2x, the blue line, which is steeper, and as the number increases to 5x, it gets really steep, and 0.2x, it's pretty shallow. Let's do another example using Desmos. What happens if I put negatives in front of the equations? So to delete the equations, we just hit the little cross. Or you can modify it, that's fine as well. So y equals x. So the y equals x line is just there so we can compare the others. Minus 2x is negative. It's going down as we expected. Y equals negative 5x is also going to be negative, but this time a lot steeper, so more vertical. And then lastly, y equals negative 0.2x is also going downwards. It's negative, but this time is shallow. It's not so steep. So we can use Desmos to quickly look at the gradients and compare what they look like. So remember, the value we change is m, or in other words, the gradient. Let's see what happens when we change the constant. So y equals x plus 1 is the same as y equals x line, but it has been moved up. So this one is black. And you can tell that the color of the graph by looking at the circle here. And you can change it by clicking on it, making it disappear. Then let's do the next one. Y equals x plus 2.5. Again, now this one is red and it's moved up a bit more. What do you think happens to the last graph, the line y equals x minus 3? Y equals x minus 3 has been moved down. It looks exactly the same. And so these lines have the y-intercept change, or in other words, the constant c has been changed. We can see that these lines have the same slope, and we say that they are parallel. Right, let's compare these 3 graphs. Y equals 2x. That one ended up being purple. It's random, but you can change it yourself if you want to. Y equals 2x plus 1 is the black line over there. Y equals 2x, whoops, what did I type? 2x minus 3 is the red line. So you can easily see that these lines are parallel lines, and that's because they have the same gradient. So they all have a gradient of 2. The Desmos is really handy. We can use it to sketch graphs so quickly and compare what they look like. So for these 2 graphs, you can pause the video and give it a go yourself and see if you get the same answers. So we have y equals 2x, that's that purple line there, and y equals negative a half. Okay, be very careful here. If you write x, c goes underneath the fraction, make sure you click right on your keyboard and then type in the x. Now we can see that these 2 lines are not parallel. They're actually 90 degrees to each other. They are perpendicular lines. Or in other words, the gradients are not the same. They're actually 2 and negative a half. If you multiply them, you would get negative 1. So whenever you multiply the gradients together and you get negative 1, they will look like 90 degrees to each other, or perpendicular. So m1, or the 2, times m2, or the negative half, equals negative 1. Now this is handy if we move the gradient m1 to the other side, so multiply becomes divide, to get the equation m2 equals negative 1 over m1. because when we ask you for what is the gradient of a line perpendicular to this, then you can plug it into this equation. Let me show you. So if to find M2, let's say we didn't know it was -1/2, how would we find it? We would do -1 over M1, which is 2. So -1 over 2 is -1/2. So that's it for me today using Desmos. Give it a go. Play around with the graph. There is a little setting button over that corner over there. I'm hovering over it, and you can put arrows on your graph so they look like that. You can change the window, you can zoom in and out, but mainly it's typing in the equations over here that I want you to try today. That's it from me today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.